A baby is born into this world, eyes still closed, completely unaware of what life is. But in one country, that baby is not seen as innocent. In North Korea, the moment a child is born, they can already be marked as a criminal. Not because of something they did, but because of something their grandfather did. Yes, this is a place where even your family's past can become your future punishment. North Korea is one of the most isolated countries in the world. The rules here are not just strict, they are beyond belief. There is no real freedom. You cannot speak freely, you cannot think freely, and in many cases, you are punished not for doing something wrong, but simply for thinking about it. Welcome back to History Short Stories. Today, we are taking you on a journey inside a country where daily life is controlled, from the food people eat to the thoughts they are allowed to have. Stay with us, because what you will hear next is not just shocking, it is hard to imagine that such a world still exists. Before we look at today's rules, let us go back in history to understand how it all started. Before 1945, all of Korea was under Japanese rule. After World War II, the country was divided into two parts, South Korea and North Korea. The South came under American influence. The North was supported by the Soviet Union. And in 1948, Kim Il-sung became the first leader of North Korea. That moment was the beginning of a dynasty. Not just a leadership, but a family rule. Kim Il-sung was followed by his son Kim Jong-il, and now, the country is ruled by his grandson, Kim Jong-un. This one family has ruled North Korea for over 70 years. And to stay in power, they have used a tool stronger than any weapon, fear. In 1950, war broke out between North and South Korea. After 3 years of brutal fighting, the war ended. But no peace deal was signed. Technically, North and South Korea are still at war today. This never-ending conflict is used by the North Korean government to keep people afraid. They tell their citizens, "The enemy is always ready to attack us. Only our leader can protect us." This constant fear has helped the regime tighten its grip on the people. Slowly, North Korea became a country where the government controls everything, and anything that challenges their power is treated as a crime. Now let us look at some of the strangest laws that exist in North Korea today. These are not just rumors. These are real rules that come with real punishments. In the year 2024, the government banned sunglasses. Why? Because wearing them during a speech by Kim Jong-un was seen as disrespectful. Even wedding clothes are controlled. You are not allowed to wear what you want on your own wedding day. In metro stations and public places, you will not hear music or public announcements. Instead, you will hear speeches from the Kim family, and while those speeches are playing, no one is allowed to talk, not a whisper, not a single sound. Doing so is considered a crime. Watching a South Korean drama or a Hollywood movie can send you to a labor camp. These are not just jails, they are places where people are forced to work in the worst conditions, often for years. The government calls this protecting people from foreign influence. They do not want their citizens to know what life is like outside North Korea. There is no real internet in North Korea. People are only allowed to use a private internal network. It does not connect to the outside world. Every website, every search, and every message is watched closely by the government. This way, they control what people see, what they read, and what they think. Even making an international phone call is illegal. If you want to speak to someone in another country, you need special permission from the government. For regular people, this permission is impossible to get. All media in North Korea is state-controlled. There is one TV channel, run by the government. The same goes for newspapers and radio stations. There is no private media. The news only shows one thing, praise for the Kim family, and hatred for countries like the United States and South Korea. Children are taught from a young age to believe that their leader is like a god, and that the outside world is full of enemies. Even your hairstyle is chosen by the government. There are only a limited number of haircuts you are allowed to have. Wearing jeans, dyeing your hair, or dressing in flashy clothes is banned. These things are considered signs of foreign influence, and food is no exception. Hot dogs are banned because they are American. Some Korean dishes, like beauty jjigae and tteokbokki, are also banned, simply because they are popular in South Korea. What you eat must match what the government approves. Travel inside North Korea is not free. If you want to go from one city to another, you need official permission. Without it, travel is illegal. And passports? Only a small group of people, the political elite, can get them. Regular people cannot even dream of leaving the country. Owning property is not allowed. The government owns everything: land, houses, shops. People only get permission to use them. They cannot buy or sell property like in other countries. Religion is completely banned. While North Korea shows a few churches to foreign visitors, the reality is very different. Those churches are fake. People who try to follow any religion secretly are sent to prison camps. There is no freedom of belief, and perhaps the most heartbreaking law of all, if someone speaks out against the government, their entire family can be punished. This punishment does not stop with parents. It goes down through generations. If a man is declared a traitor today, his grandchild may also carry that label years later, even if the child is innocent. This is done to make sure that no one ever dares to oppose the Kim family again. Not now, and not in the future. In North Korea, voting is not about freedom. It is a test of loyalty. Every citizen is required to vote, but there is only one name on the ballot. That name is chosen by the government. If you do not vote, or if you refuse to support the chosen candidate, you are labeled a traitor and can be arrested. So then, you may ask, why hold elections at all? The answer is simple. These elections are not meant to choose a leader. They are meant to show the world, and the North Korean people, that the country is united under one ruler. When the government announces that 100% of the people voted for one candidate, it becomes proof of loyalty, not democracy. North Korea does have a parliament. It is called the Supreme People's Assembly. But this is not like any parliament you may know. It does not debate laws. It does not check the leader's power. Its only job is to approve whatever Kim Jong-un decides. Let us go deeper. Every citizen in North Korea is required to memorize something called the 10 Principles for the Establishment of a Monolithic Ideological System. These are 10 strict rules that glorify the Kim family. Not one of these 10 principles talks about the people or their rights. All of them focus only on loyalty to Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un. And if a person forgets even a few words while reciting them, they can be punished for being disloyal. Every television in the country is preset to only show state-run channels. The main one is Korean Central Television. It only shows content approved by the government, news, music, and documentaries that all praise the leadership. Tuning into foreign channels is illegal. Even imported televisions are modified before entering the country. Their tuning systems are disabled so people cannot access anything else. And now, viewers, prepare to be surprised. In North Korea, even a bicycle is treated like a serious vehicle. To ride a bicycle, you must register it, get a number plate, and pass a road safety test. Yes, just for a bicycle. If you ride it without permission, you can be fined or arrested. Wearing clothes with foreign logos, English slogans, or flags from other countries is also completely banned. The government believes that these things weaken national identity and introduce foreign thinking. In short, they are seen as dangerous. But these strict rules are not just for the people of North Korea. Even tourists who visit the country must follow heavy restrictions. A tourist cannot move around freely. Wherever they go, a government-assigned guide will stay with them at all times. Tourists are only allowed to visit approved places. Talking to local people is not allowed. Taking photos is also limited, and only with permission. Even devices brought into the country, like phones, laptops, USB drives, or memory cards, are checked regularly. If any foreign content is found, there are serious consequences. One of the darkest parts of North Korean society is its class system. It is called Jong-un. This system decides a person's future the moment they are born. Not based on talent, not on hard work, but based on family history. There are three main classes. The first is the core class. These are people whose ancestors supported Kim Il-sung during the revolution or fought for the regime in the Korean War. These people are considered loyal. They get the best jobs, in government offices or high military ranks. They are also allowed to live in the capital city, Pyongyang. They can own cars, access better healthcare, and enjoy some privileges that others never will. The second is the wavering class. These are ordinary citizens, farmers, workers, and people with no special political background. They are not fully trusted, but they are not seen as enemies either. They get access to basic services, but they are always under watch. The third and lowest group is the hostile class. These people are considered enemies of the state. Their ancestors may have practiced religion, owned land before the revolution, or had relatives in South Korea. This group is treated with the most suspicion. They are forced into the hardest jobs, mining, cleaning, and manual labor. They cannot live in the capital, and they cannot rise in society, no matter how loyal or hardworking they are. Viewers, this is a system that punishes people not for what they do, but for who their family is. In North Korea, your past is never left behind. It becomes your future. Electricity, water, and gas are also not used freely. They are rationed. That means the government decides how much each family gets, and when. Power cuts are common. Many homes are left in the dark for hours every day. Military service is also mandatory. Every citizen, whether male or female, must serve in the army. For men, the service can last up to 10 years. For women, it is usually shorter, but still forced. There are also some shocking emotional rules. On the death anniversary of Kim Il-sung or Kim Jong-il, crying is not just expected, it is mandatory. Yes, if someone does not cry in public or does not show enough sadness, they are considered disloyal, and that can lead to arrest, punishment, or worse. Inside every home, people are required to hang portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. These portraits must be cleaned regularly. Government inspectors come to check if the portraits are clean and respected. If they find dust, the family can be punished for showing disrespect. Even schoolchildren are made to memorize speeches given by the Kim leaders. Education is not focused on math or science. It is focused on ideology. Children grow up repeating the same messages: loyalty to the leader, hatred for foreign countries, and praise for the government. And finally, even time is different in North Korea. The country uses a special calendar called the Jewish calendar. It begins from the year 1912, the birth year of Kim Il-sung. That means while the rest of the world calls this year 2025, North Korea calls it Jewish year 113. But why has North Korea closed itself off from the world like this? There are two big reasons. First, the government is afraid that if people learn about the outside world, about freedom, technology, or better living, they may rise against the leadership. So, the flow of information is blocked. The people are kept in the dark. Second, because of its nuclear program, many countries have imposed international sanctions on North Korea. These sanctions cut the country off from trade, travel, and global cooperation. North Korea has responded by becoming even more secretive, even more isolated. Viewers, let us be clear, some of these rules may have changed over time, and there may be new, even harsher laws in place now. But because the country hides everything so well, the only information we get comes from the few people who manage to escape. Some use smuggled USB drives, others use secret footage captured with hidden cameras. But one thing is certain, life in North Korea is like nowhere else on Earth.